Amber's husband, Carl, is an artist. Can you guess which one of these ladies is Amber? It's the lady in the middle. She has the same paint stains on her clothes as Carl has on his jeans. Carl gets an invitation to visit a mysterious fortune teller, Morgana. She has built a maze so that only smart people could reach her house. Which one of these routes should Carl choose? Only the first path will take him to the final destination. Morgana treats Carl with a welcome drink. Only one of these 3 drinks is safe. Can you guess which one? The first drink. There's a human tooth inside the second glass, and there are too many flies around the third drink, so it's probably not fresh. Morgana says,
I've got a surprise for you. People put it on the table but never eat it. What is it?
Can you guess? The correct answer is a pack of cards. Carl gets his brand new pack of cards. Morgana offers him a mind game. From the pack of 52 cards, she places 4 cards on the table face down and gives Carl 4 clues about the card. Card on the left cannot be greater than the card on the right. The difference between the first card and the third card is 8. There's no single ace among these 4 cards. Also, there are no face cards. And finally, the difference between the second and the fourth card is 7. Can you help Carl guess the values of all 4 cards? Alright, let's put everything on the table. The task was to guess the value, so we can pay no attention to the suits. The first card has to be 2, and the third card has to be 10. There's simply no other way the difference can be 8. The first and the fourth clues reveal that the fourth card can only be 10. And, thanks to clue 5, we know that the second card amounts to 3. So here's the correct answer. Carl successfully solves the riddle. Morgana is impressed. She says,
Now that I see you deserve my gift, I will give you a magic amulet that will turn you into the richest artist. These 3 tunnels lead to the room where the treasure is hidden. You must choose wisely if you want to stay safe.
There's a rhino cuddling her calves in the first tunnel. The second tunnel is filled with gas, which is fatal for any insect. There are thousands of venomous snakes crawling around the third tunnel. Which way is more or less safe? The second one. Nobody said that the gas is dangerous for humans. The next day, Carl feels sick and goes to the hospital. He meets these 3 women in the lobby. Can you find a doctor's wife among them? Take a look at the poster. This doctor is a dentist. The first lady is his patient. And the third one is his colleague, so the second lady is his wife. 3 doctors approach Carl, but one of them is fake. Can you guess who? Take a look at this guy's badge. There's a female picture and a name on it, so he's probably an imposter. The doctor invites Carl to his lab. Can you help him find these 3 items? Here they are. In the evening, Carl arrives home. He spots 5 weird things about this place right away. Can you see them too? The house number is hanging upside down. This raccoon is talking on a cell phone. The bicycle is moving without a rider. This lantern doesn't have a lamppost and floats in the air by itself. And finally, these flowers in the garden are blooming in the middle of winter. Carl enters his house. Surprise! His friends prepared a secret party for his birthday. Everything goes well, but suddenly the lights turn off for 30 seconds. When the power is back again, Carl sees that someone has sneaked his lucky amulet from his neck. He questions 3 suspects. Rick says, "I was cooking snacks in the kitchen. The light turned off so suddenly." Bella says, "I was in the middle of a chess game when the power turned off." And Ren says, "I've been dancing in the living room for the last 30 minutes, and the dark didn't stop me." Who's lying? Bella. She said she was in the middle of her game, but all chess pieces are standing in their initial positions. Bella escapes with the amulet and flies away to Seychelles with her boyfriend Josh. Can you guess which one of these guys is Josh? The second guy. He's lying on her beach wrap. Bella is watching a boxing match on TV. It's a friendly match between 2 heavyweights, which consists of 12 rounds, but it was finished after the 7th round because the boxer knocked out the other one. But during the match, no man threw even a single punch. How can this be possible? Easy. It was between 2 female boxers. In the hotel, Bella has only 3 neighbors on her floor. One of them is turning into a zombie. Can you guess who? This lady. It's hot. Why is she wearing a warm scarf? Bella leaves her hotel room to get some ice. 2 minutes later, she returns and finds out that someone had broken in. How did she know? When she was leaving, the balcony door was opened and now it's locked. It was Carl who robbed Bella. He just took back his amulet and ran away to the roof. Unfortunately, now he's trapped on the roof of the hotel building. It's 200 feet high. There's a hook on the roof and another hook 100 feet down from it. Carl finds a 150-foot-long rope and a sharp knife. How can he climb down safely? Carl should cut the rope into 2 parts, 50 and 100 feet. Then make a knot at the end of the shorter rope and put the longer one through it. Then he should slide down the ropes and untie the longer rope to be able to use it again with the second hook. Carl uses his lucky amulet and his art becomes super famous. One day, he receives a phone call from the police. They arrested a group of criminals who tried to sell illegal copies of Carl's artwork. They confiscated 3 paintings. Carl said that one of them is original. Can you guess which one? The first painting is a mirrored version of the original work. The second one has a barely visible handprint. Therefore, only the third painting is original. Carl exhibits a huge collage in a gallery. Can you spot any outstanding images? This guy over here. Carl goes to the gym for a morning workout. He sees something weird and freaks out. Can you spot what's wrong? A huge spider is crawling out of the ventilation. Carl puts his bags in a locker before going to the gym shower. He locks it and takes the key with him. He hangs the key on a hook together with his towel. After bathing, Carl finds out that someone had stolen the key and robbed his locker. He questions 3 suspects, but all of them say they were taking a shower and didn't see anything. Who is lying? The third guy. Take a look at his feet. They're too dirty for a man who has just taken a shower. Helen and Dylan go to the movies. Can you spot anything odd in this place? There's a spider hiding in this guy's popcorn. This lady has a working camera, which is not allowed in the movies. The seats are numbered in a random order in this row, and there's a monster hiding behind the seats. Can you spot a criminal among these 2 truck drivers? The second guy is just shipping tomatoes, but someone scrawled the word help on the window of the first truck. Therefore, the first driver is the criminal. Can you guess which driver is more dangerous? The second one. Who uses such weird decor for his car? Breaking news! Someone stole exclusive diamond shoes from the local museum. Many people visited the exhibition that day, but the criminal had left no clue. The police arrive at the crime scene. Detective Smith checks the camera records and spots the thief right away. What about you? Something about this lady is very suspicious. Her height increases in the second footage. This probably means that she's wearing the stolen diamond shoes. Kelly throws a pajama party, but one of her guests is a criminal. Can you guess who? This lady is a thief.
Oh, no.
She hid the stolen items inside a pillow. Let's check how eagle-eyed you are. Can you spot 3 differences between these 2 pictures? Here they are.
Yes!
What about these pictures? Are they identical? Nope, there are 3 differences. Can you see 3 differences here? Here they are. Great job!
Yes!
Philip runs a publishing house. One day, he gets an anonymous message. His best illustrator, Victor, has a secret relationship with one of his female co-workers. Only 4 ladies work in Philip's farm. Sheila is an SMM manager. She has just returned from the Maldives. It was her honeymoon. Bella is a content manager. She's very shy and lives with 5 dogs. Lily is a part-time writer. She's single and parties all the time. And Kelly is an office manager. She's very ambitious and writes her own book in her spare time. Can you guess Victor's secret crush? Bella! Philip has white dog hair on his jacket, just like Bella. Crystal is a doctor. She arrives at a medical conference and takes several pictures with her colleagues before the event. In an hour, the local janitor finds Crystal unconscious in the storage room. Later, Crystal gets better and tells the police, "I was walking to the toilet. The last thing I remember was someone pushing me from behind. I don't know who did it." Police questioned all the doctors. Everyone claims that they were listening to the report when the attack took place. Officers examine the pictures before the conference and immediately identify the criminal. What about you? Crystal tried to protect herself and tore the string on the criminal's neck.
Oh my god.
So it was this guy with a broken badge. Harold is the richest man in town. This evening, he lost his memory because of a car accident. His only family is his daughter. When Harold wakes up in a hospital, two ladies claim to be his daughters. One of them is lying. Can you help Harold identify the real one? There's a photo frame near Harold's bed with a picture of him with his daughter. She has a mole on her cheek, and this lady too. So she's the real daughter. Peter gets lost in a haunted house and finds 3 doors. He needs to choose one of them to escape. There's a cute family of polar bears behind the first door. A couple of hungry, angry wolves are waiting behind the second door, and they haven't been eating for 7 years. And there are hundreds of venomous snakes behind the third door. Which way is more or less safe? The second one. Wolves can't survive without food for so long, so they're not a threat anymore. Mary is heading back home from work through a forest road. Somewhere along the way, she gets lost. She comes across 3 caves. Mary needs to choose one of them to go ahead. There are venomous scorpions inside the first cave. They can't wait to bite Mary. Inside the second cave, there's a tiger that will eat her alive. And inside the third cave, there are man-eating bats. Which cave is more or less safe? If you noticed, the sun is still up. It's daytime and bats are sleeping, so the third cave is the safest option for Mary. Detective Smith gets a task to investigate a robbery. He questions a witness who saw the thief escaping. He says, "In my car's mirror, I saw a masked man driving away in panic, but I wrote down the number of his car." Detective Smith takes the note with the number. Police find 4 cars with similar number plates. Detective Smith carefully examines all 4 cars and figures out which one of them belongs to the robber. How? Since the witness looked at the car number through his mirror, the image was reflected. It means that this was the original car number. Amy lives with her 3 sisters. She's a professional violinist. Her sister always complains that she loves music more than her own family. One day, Amy leaves for the gym, and when she returns home in the evening, she discovers that all her super expensive violins are broken.
Oh, God.
She immediately calls the police. Detective Smith arrives and interrogates everyone. Amy's elder sister, Sarah, says, "I was sleeping the whole time. I don't know anything." Detective Smith asks her what the other sisters were doing at the time. They were both reading books and eating dinner in the living room. Only the younger sister was having fun at a party downtown. Detective Smith immediately realizes who broke the violins. What about you? If Sarah was sleeping, how did she know who was doing what?
Duh.
This implies that she's hiding something. A woman in tears enters Detective Smith's office and asks for his help. She explains, "I was walking down the road when a man approached me from behind, snatched my phone from my hand, and ran away." But Detective Smith suspects 3 people and invites all of them. But everyone says that they didn't steal the lady's phone. Detective Smith checks their phones and immediately understands who did it. Can you guess who snatched the phone? Take a look at the wallpapers. This is the lady's dog, so the first guy stole her phone.
Oh, no.
After a particularly large snowfall, Chuck walks outdoors. He discovers a weird thing. He has half as much snow in his yard as his neighbors, but it seems like Chuck is not surprised at all. Can you guess why? Simple. Chuck's yard is half the size of his neighbor's. Vicky is filming a video blog about this haunted house. Suddenly, she freaks out because this place is full of frogs. How many frogs can you see in this picture? The correct answer is 11. Vicky runs away to the basement and sees a creepy collection of clown masks. How many masks can you spot? This one is not a mask, it's a portrait. Philip is walking down the street. Suddenly, a woman approaches him from behind and sneaks his wallet. She runs away and hides in one of the houses. Philip follows her. The owner of the house is inside. Philip asks him, "Has anyone visited you today?" The owner replies, "Nope, neither have I left the house. I live here alone and work from home." After hearing the owner's words, Philip knows for sure that this guy is a liar. How come? There are 3 cups of hot tea at the table and female sandals standing near the door. So he's probably an accomplice of the thief. Greetings to the best Brightside detectives. Have you prepared your magnifying glasses? Then let's start.
Yeah.
A man was trapped in a dark room. His only source of light was a candle. There were 3 doors leading out of the room. Behind one of them, there was a tunnel that could help him escape. Behind the other 2 doors, there was a concrete wall. The man had a key that could open any of the doors, but he could only use it once. Still, the man managed to get away. How did he do this? He brought the candle to each of the keyholes in turn. Near the door with the tunnel, the flame started to flicker. Imagine that you're stuck on the top floor of a 30-story building and there are no stairs you could take. Your only option is to use an elevator. There are 4 elevators in front of you, but the first one is swarming with extremely venomous spiders. In the second elevator, look! There's no elevator. You can only see an empty shaft. The third elevator is filled with toxic liquid. As for the 4th elevator, a furious, hungry tiger is inside. It seems like a no-win situation, but you have to find a way out. Which elevator? You should choose elevator number 3. As soon as the doors of this elevator open, all the liquid will pour out. And the only thing you'll need to do is to step far away enough not to have your shoes soaked. Now let's check how attentive you are. Try to figure out which rabbit doesn't have a twin. A small hint. Pay attention to the matching patterns on their ears, bellies, and cute little faces. Yep, that's the one we're looking for. Unlike others, it has darker spots around its nose and on its ears. And here's a bunch of kitties with their tails sticking up. A perfect hiding spot for a little bunny. Can you find it? This white rabbit is hiding literally in plain sight. Damien has bought a new keyboard, but apparently the seller fooled the guy and gave him a fake one. Can you find the proof? The keyboard has no 5s, but there are 2 4s. Someone hid a soccer ball in this crowd of happy pandas. Can you spot it? Right, here it is. So easy to miss. A dog has run away from its master. It's now hiding somewhere among all these bulls. Can you help the worried owner find his pooch? Right, here it is. Similar, but not the same. Look at these 2 ladies. Which one seems suspicious? It's the woman on the right. Her reflection is all wrong. She's probably not human. All these people seem to be taking a shower, but which one is doing something wrong? The guy on the left, he probably just pretends to be taking a shower, but the water isn't running. Look at these people dancing at a costume party attentively. You need to figure out who is a werewolf. It's that guy in the corner. He's wearing a human mask, but his thick hair is peeking from underneath the mask. All of these people look well off, wearing some jewelry and nice outfits, but only one of them is indeed rich. It's that guy in a t-shirt. While he's focusing on his work, his bodyguards are waiting for him. Look at how attentively they're watching him and their surroundings. Which of these girls relaxing near the swimming pool is married? This girl doesn't have a ring, but she's wearing it on another finger. The second girl doesn't have a ring whatsoever. It's the third girl that's married. She must have taken her ring off before going for a swim, even though she isn't wearing it. There's a visible tan line on her ring finger. In one magic country, all animals are intelligent and rational. In one clearing, there are 10 lions and a sheep. Your task is to watch them and make sure the lions don't harm the sheep. If you get distracted, a lion can eat a sheep. But what the lions don't know is that if one of them does this, it will turn into a sheep too. In this case, the rest of the lions will probably eat it as well. If you leave this lovely company alone for some time, how many lions and sheep will you find when you come back? When you return, most likely, there will be 9 lions and 1 sheep. The main thing here is that all the animals are rational. Once the lion eats the sheep and turns into a sheep itself, the rest of the lions will understand the consequences and prefer to stay in the safety of their natural form. Oliver got a present for his girlfriend Victoria. It was a new smartphone she'd wanted for ages, but Oliver didn't give it to her right away. Instead, he put it into a box. Victoria had to figure out in which of these 3 boxes the gadget was. Each box had a note. It's in here. Your present isn't here. It's not in the first box. Only one of these notes told the truth. Where is the smartphone? If it's in the first box, it'll mean that claims 1 and 2 are correct, which contradicts the conditions of the riddle. If the phone is in the third box, then both claims 2 and 3 will be true. But if the device is in the second box, note number 3 will be the only truthful statement. Mr. Smart's wife went missing. A detective came to investigate this case. Mr. Smart told her the following. The last time I saw my wife was in the morning. She was having breakfast. When I returned home at 6 p.m., her breakfast was still on the table, but she had disappeared. After hearing the man's story, the detective immediately arrested Mr. Smart. Why did she do so? When the detective arrived at the Smart's house, the breakfast on the table was still steaming. This means that Mr. Smart had set up the scene right before he called the police. Once Mr. Blue, Mr. Red, and Mr. White meet for dinner. When they take off their jackets, Mr. Blue draws their attention to the fact that each of them is wearing a shirt different from their surname. The man in a white shirt looks surprised and says, "Yeah, Mr. Blue, you're right. Can you figure out which shirt each man is wearing?" So, let's think logically. Mr. Blue can be wearing only a white or red shirt, but we know for sure that another man is dressed in white. This means that Mr. Blue can only be in a red shirt. Mr. White could be dressed in a blue or red shirt, but the red one is already taken by Mr. Blue. So we can logically conclude that Mr. White is wearing blue. And as a result, this leaves us with Mr. Red dressed in a white shirt. Liza was a popular guitar player in a rock band. On Friday, the band was going to have a big gig. Liza's bandmates were waiting for her, but the girl was very late. Eventually, she showed up, but it wasn't Liza. It was her twin sister, Alice. She was envious of Liza, so she locked her sister in the room, took her clothes and the guitar, and pretended to be a band member. But as soon as the musicians saw fake Liza, they immediately knew she wasn't their bandmate. How did they understand? Look how long the girl's nails are. You need to have short nails to play the guitar. A man came to a fruit market to sell watermelons. After he sold half of them and half of a watermelon, he saw he had one watermelon left. How many watermelons did he bring to the market? He came there with 3 watermelons. A famous British actress, Amelia Wright, was spending her vacation in a hotel in Miami. One day, the police got a call from one of Amelia's friends, who reported her disappearance.
We agreed to have dinner together a couple of days ago, and I still can't reach her,
the woman said. The police got access to Amelia's hotel room, where they found this note.
It's been an honor to be able to live my dream of being an actress, but it has been the center of my attention for too long, and I want to start over. Don't look for me. Love, Amelia.
The police didn't believe that the note was written by Amelia. Why? The words like honor and center are written in an American way. Amelia is British, and they spell it like this: honor, H-O-N-O-U-R, and center, C-E-N-T-R-E. Mr. Jordan, said Detective Callum over the phone, I'm sorry to tell you that your brother-in-law was poisoned and is now in the hospital. We are working on the case right now.
Oh no, Daniel Jordan replied. I just saw Brian last week. I'm sorry to hear that. But he is a successful businessman. He must have many enemies. That's a shame. He is a good man. I and both of my sister's husbands have always looked up to him. Please keep me updated and let me know how I can help.
You can come to the police station so that we can ask you a couple of questions, replied Detective Callum. Why did he think that Daniel had something to do with the poisoning? The detective never specified which brother-in-law was poisoned, and yet Daniel knew immediately, even though he had 3 of them. A rich woman was robbed right in the hotel she was staying in. A person pulled a purse out of her hands in the lobby and ran out of the building. The police arrived for interrogation, and one person stepped in as a witness.
I was inside when the entrance door opened and slammed me in the face. The person had a red handbag and ran in the direction of the park. They were wearing a black hood and white sneakers. That's all I could notice.
The witness was taken to the police station for further investigation. Why? As you see, the hotel's entrance door is a pull door, so the door couldn't have possibly slammed that witness in the face. So, they're lying. Maybe it's the thief's partner trying to feed the police false information. Now, to crack this short riddle, you need to think outside the box. A train had arrived at the main station, but none of the passengers moved and none walked in. Then, the train departed. How is it possible? It's a model train set. Take a look at this couple on a boat trip. Why did the man push his girlfriend? He didn't push her. Quite the opposite. He was trying to save her. The woman had dropped her sunglasses into the water and was leaning over the side of the boat to retrieve them. She lost her balance and fell into the water. The man quickly reacted, grabbed her, and pulled her back into the boat. Now it's time for our favorite. Who is riddles that will test your attention? Are you ready? Look at these two people. Which of them isn't smart? It's this guy right here. The sign says that no pets are allowed, but he's come with a cat. Okay, here's another situation. Two people are on vacation. Jane is exploring the Alps, and David is about to jump from a cliff in Italy. Which of them isn't smart? It's David. Look, there's rocks right below the cliff he's going to jump from. It's way too dangerous. Jake and George are best friends who went camping in the woods. In the afternoon, they came across a wolf and ran in different directions. Which of the guys is in greater danger? It's Jake. Look, he's eating a sausage. The sausage will probably attract the wolf, and it will run after Jake to get it. The guy should throw it away, and keep in mind that if you ever encounter a wolf, don't run. Stand tall, maintain eye contact, and slowly back away. Now, look at these two pretty ladies. Can you figure out which of them has a partner? It's this one. Look, she has a ring on her finger, so you can say it's a safe bet. Neil was in love with his colleague, Jessica. He told her about his feelings, but she said she wasn't interested. Neil invited her to dinner anyway, asking for one chance, and Jessica agreed. Neil wasn't going to take any chances, so he decided to use a love potion on her. It had an effect on a person who wasn't in love and had the opposite effect on someone who was already in love. In simple words, if Neil drank it too, he'd fall out of love. So, it was the day of the dinner. Neil and Jessica ate the same food, and in the end, they shared a piece of cake, which Neil cut in half. Jessica left, saying it was a lovely dinner, but that she still wasn't interested. But the next day, the girl called Neil asking for another date. How did Neil manage to give Jessica a love potion without drinking it himself if they ate all the same food? The love potion was on one side of the knife that was used to cut the cake, so Jessica's piece had the potion on it, and Neil's didn't. Now, I have a couple of quick questions to ask you, and all of them are easier than they seem. Do you think you can solve them all? Let's see, and remember, don't overthink. How many hamsters can you put in an empty box? Just one. After that, it won't be an empty box anymore. What's bigger once you turn it around? The number 6, which will turn into 9. We all know that 2 and 2 equal 4, but how can we make it 18 more? Just by putting 2 and 2 next to each other so that they become 22. If you multiply all numbers on your phone's keyboard, what will be the result? the result will be 0. In any case, you will multiply all these numbers by 0. Okay, now let's relax a bit and train your eyes. I'll show you some photos, and your task is to find hidden words in them. 1 word per photo. Do you think you can find it? Well, let's see. Here's the first photo. Did you find the word cloud hidden right here? Great job. Here's something a little bit harder. Concentrate. This time, the word history was written right here. Okay, here's the next one for you. The word music is here. Did you see it? Let's do a few more. Are you up for it? Then here's the new one for you. So, the word science was right here. And finally, here's the last, hardest one. Concentrate and try to find that word as fast as possible. Can you? Yes, the word movie is right here. Awesome job! Now, one last detective riddle for you. One evening, Detective Callum was out on a walk around his neighborhood. He spotted an unfamiliar gentleman he had never seen before. This was unusual since the detective knew every person living in the area. "Hello, I don't think I've had the chance to meet you before," he said.
Yes, I believe so. I just moved in here last week, and I'm leaving now to meet my friends.
The detective didn't believe the man and took him to the police station. Why? Look, there are fresh footprints on the snow that obviously belong to the man, and they lead out of the window. House owners usually use the front door to walk out of the house, so this one must be a burglar. Sue's friend works at a celebrity PR agency. He informs Sue about a big party that has all the A-listers that will attend and invites her there. There will be a secret entrance code at the door, and it's the answer to this riddle. What always runs but never walks, often murmurs, never talks, has a bed but never sleeps, has a mouth but never eats. The answer is a river. James, Charles, and Harry participated in the 76th Adventure Marathon. Harry ended the race in 3rd place, James in 2nd place, and Charles in 1st place. However, right before they were given their medals, Charles got disqualified. Can you tell why? Do you see the marathon map on the board next to where the medals are? It shows that the runners have to go through some place called the Muddy Plains during their course. And you can tell from the looks on their sneakers that James and Harry have been through a muddy place, whereas Charles's sneakers look clean as new. During the Boston Marathon, Sally overtook Nicole, who was in 2nd place. Then, in what place did Sally finish the race? She finished the race in 2nd place because the riddle states that she overtook Nicole in 2nd place, which means she took over Nicole's position and became the new 2nd place runner. Janine was a biology teacher. At the beginning of the semester, she gave each student one seed and said that only the person who grew the most beautiful flower would get an A in her class. By the end of the semester, all students came back with beautiful flowers except Billy, who came with an empty pot, but he was the only one who got an A. Why is that? It's because the seeds Janine gave all the students were fake, so Billy was the only honest person among them. Charlie's father was a wildlife photographer, and he always wanted his son to experience how it felt to be around wild animals. So he decided to give him money that would cover all the expenses of an African safari tour. The only thing he wanted in return was for Charlie to take some photos throughout his adventure and send them to him. Charlie did that, but his father got furious and decided not to give him even a single penny anymore. Can you tell why? Take a closer look at these photos. In one of them, Charlie is wearing skis and holding ski poles in an exotic jungle. So he didn't use the money to go on an African safari tour. Instead, he went on a ski vacation and his photos are photoshopped. Ronald was going to a wedding party with his wife. Once they arrived, as Ronald was getting out of his car, he slipped and fell, hit his head, then blacked out. When he woke up a couple of hours later, he couldn't remember anything. There were two women in front of him who were both claiming to be his wife. Can you help Ronald figure out which of them is telling the truth? Remember they were going to a wedding party? That's why they were both dressed accordingly. The lady wearing sweatpants doesn't look like she was heading to a wedding. That's why Ronald's real wife must be the other one, the lady wearing a fancy dress. Leah and Andrew were getting married. After they made their vows, it was finally time to celebrate. But a jealous witch suddenly interrupted them and created two doppelgangers of Andrew to confuse Leah. Yet, the witch's trick didn't work at all, because Leah could immediately tell who the real Andrew was. How did she figure it out so fast? The first and the third Andrew's rings don't match the ring Leah is wearing, so the second Andrew is the real Andrew. A knight was riding his horse through the enchanted forest when a heavy storm began. He couldn't continue his journey like this, so he decided to find an inn to spend the night and wait for the storm to pass. However, he was out of gold coins and was not going to be able to pay. The innkeeper told him if he could answer this riddle correctly, he would let him stay there for free. What is it that walks all day on its head? It's a nail in a horseshoe. Sadie was driving to New Orleans at night when her car suddenly broke. She went out to find someone who could help, but there was only one house around. It was a spooky and weird one, but Sadie had no other choice. Once she rang the bell, 3 vampires opened the door for her. Before Sadie could even say a word, each vampire asked for her help instead, claiming that they were actually human, and the other 2 real vampires were holding them prisoner. Can you help Sadie figure out who's telling the truth? Sadie is wearing glasses, so she can point it to the vampires and see which of them has a reflection on the glass surface. Cassandra was a famous beauty influencer. To celebrate her 1 million followers, she did a huge giveaway. For 3 days, she was going to share 3 different riddles with her followers, and the one who could answer all of them correctly would win a makeup box that was $1,000 worth of products. Here is the riddle for day 1. What's black when you get it, red when you use it, and gray when you're all through with it? It's charcoal. For day 2, Cassandra shared 2 almost identical looking photos with her followers. But there were actually 3 differences between them. Can you spot what they are? The lipstick she's holding in the first photo is coral, but it's fuchsia in the second photo. The hairpin in the first photo is butterfly-shaped, but in the second one, it's bird-shaped. And lastly, this nail has glitter nail polish in the first photo, but in the second, it's the same color as the others. For day 3, Cassandra asked her followers to find out her 3 favorite movies and gave these emojis as her hint. Can you tell which movies they refer to? The first one is Silence of the Lambs. The second one is Finding Nemo. And the third one is Edward Scissorhands. Alex is hanging out in his favorite space cafe when suddenly space monsters attack his planet, and all the doors and windows of the place get sealed shut as part of the emergency protocol. However, there's actually one way to escape the place safely before the space monsters break the barriers. Can you tell how? Do you see the thing that looks like a fire alarm pull station on the wall? Well, it's not really what you think. The writing on it says, "Pull down for the escape portal." So Alex can use that. But when Alex actually uses the portal pull station, 3 different portals open in front of him. The first one leads to a gladiator arena filled with all kinds of wild animals. The second one leads to the inside of an active volcano. And the third one leads to an island inhabited by creepy sirens whose singing make everyone fall into an eternal sleep. Which one should Alex pick? Do you see the headphones Alex has inside his backpack? Well, he can use them to cancel the singing of the sirens, so he should choose the third portal. Alyssa left her gym bag in the dressing room and went to get a towel from the receptionist. But when she returned, her bag was gone. She called security and they interrogated 3 people. Jennifer said that she was taking a shower at the back. Jessica said that she had left to get something to eat from the vending machine. And Jenna said that she was talking on the phone with her boyfriend, not paying attention to anything. Who stole the bag? It's Jessica. She said that she was getting something to eat from the vending machine, but there's no food in it, only drinks.
Jeremiah is on the run from the police. He stole several large gold bars from the bank. He has 3 gold bars in his arms, each weighing 20 pounds. In fact, there's a way for him to get away with that. All he needs to do is to cross a bridge. But here's the kicker. The bridge can only support 200 pounds. The 3 bars of gold weigh 60 pounds, and Jeremiah weighs 160 pounds. How can he cross the bridge without getting rid of any of the bars? Seems like to do so, one of the bars should literally float in the air. To make it happen, Jeremiah must juggle them. This way, only 2 bars will be acting on the bridge, while the third one will be airborne. Voila! 160 plus 20 plus 20 equals 200. So the bridge isn't likely to let Jeremiah down. You're playing dodgeball with 2 other people, Arnie and Preston. You're standing in a triangle, and you all take turns throwing a ball at one of the others of your choosing until only one person is remaining. You have a 30% chance of hitting someone you aim at. Arnie has a 50% chance, and Preston a 100% chance. Yeah, this guy never misses. If you hit somebody, they are out and no longer get a turn. If the order of throwing is you, Arnie, and then Preston, what should you do to have the best chance of winning? First, you gotta miss the first time on purpose. If you try to hit Arnie and you do hit him, then Preston goes next and he will 100% hit you and you will lose for sure. If you aim at Preston and hit him, then Arnie will go for you. If you miss on your first turn, Arnie will go for Preston for sure because he's a stronger player. If he hits him, then it's just you and Arnie, but you are going first. If he misses, then Preston will hit Arnie and it will be just you and Preston. But again, in this case, you are going first. It will be a 30% chance, but this way, you're in the finals. A man wants to enter an exclusive club, but he doesn't know the password. Another man walks to the door, and the doorman says 12. The man says 6, and is let in. Another man walks up, and the doorman says 6. The man says 3 and is let in. Thinking he has heard enough, he walks up to the door and the doorman says 10, he says 5, and he isn't let in. What should he have said? Three. He should have said how many letters were in the number he said. A thief enters a high-end boutique and frightens the shop assistant, forcing him to open the safe. The shop assistant says, "The code for the safe is different every day, and if you try to do anything to me, you'll never get the code." But the thief manages to guess the code on his own. How did he do it? That thief was smart. The code is different. The shop assistant told him this. A woman is found alone in the middle of the desert. She's surrounded by a pile of debris and a wrecked plane. There are no other signs of life in the area. Despite the crash, the woman is alive and well. Nothing serious happened to her, and she appears to be in good health. How did she survive? Look closer. The woman wasn't on the plane when it crashed. She survived by jumping out of the airplane with a parachute before it crashed. Two fathers and their two sons go fishing together. They each catch one fish to take home with them. They do not lose any fish, and yet when they get home, they only have 3 fish. How can this happen? There are just 3 people: a grandfather, his son, and his grandson. A super wealthy businessman, Mr. Ben Swift, was taken and left locked up all alone in a dark room. His phone almost ran out of charge, so he can write only one message. He knows that someone might spy on his phone, so he decided to write a message with a code to a high school friend, John Smith, who has a detective agency. He remembered that in high school, they would cipher messages to each other, shifting one letter to the right each time they needed to write a secret code. So, check this out. Can you guess what it means? It's not gibberish. The message is, "It was my accountant." You were wandering in the jungle, and all of a sudden, you saw a magnificent antique castle. You enter it and see its inhabitants. It's kind of hard to say if they're friendly or not, but hey, look, they just fetched you some snacks. Still, you can tell from their grins that these snacks must be a trap for you. You can't say no to them and need to choose something to eat. There are 4 muffins before you, all looking yummy, and your mouth is watering. One of the dwellers, who seems to be their leader, tells you that the first muffin has some fermented cabbage inside. The second one is swarming with live ants. The third one has mud instead of chocolate cream. And the fourth one has ackee fruit inside. So, which dessert would you opt for? A muffin with fermented cabbage may sound weird and not dessert-like, but it's safe. You've tried fermented cabbage, also known as kimchi, before, and you loved it. For those who love to risk, the fourth one could be good to go too. Ackee fruit is delicious when cooked properly, but you weren't sure if the dwellers took care of cooking it well. As for ants and mud muffins, I'd pass on them for sure. Mary is a nail technician. Her services are free to anyone who wants to set up an appointment with her. However, most people still end up paying here. How so? Mary only does one hand for free, so most people who come to get her services end up paying the full price. They don't really want to look bizarre with the nails done only on one hand. Jocelyn went grocery shopping and bought a lot of milk, yogurts, meat, and cheese. When she came back home, she realized she had nowhere to store all these products, as her fridge was already full. How can she save all the food that she bought? Jocelyn needs to order stuff in her fridge. Look, here's a pack of rice, some chips, and even cookies. These products don't need to be stored in the fridge. Once she takes it all out of the fridge, she'll have enough space to store dairy products and meat. Phil's teacher is a great person, but like many other people, he has some oddities. He would never let Phil go home until he solves one of his tricky riddles. This time, the riddle is, how many apples in total are there on a pine if there are 5 apples on each branch and there are 8 branches on the tree?
Uh-oh.
Okay, this one was easy. There are no apples on a pine. There are cones. Poor Kathy lived with a stepmother and 3 wicked stepsisters. Sounds familiar. Her dream was to go to a lit party she's been waiting for all year long. Her stepmother, Evelyn, never let Kathy go anywhere. This time, Evelyn decided to let Kathy go when she has finished all the tasks given by Evelyn. The stepmother asked Kathy to bring her some water, but she gave her a colander to carry water in. How can Kathy bring the water if she has nothing but a colander? Kathy needs to freeze some water and put it in the colander. It takes some time to melt, but when Evelyn gets that colander full of ice, technically, she'll have a colander full of water. Hey Kathy, make sure to be back by midnight. You need a ride?